All right. Hello, everyone. We're actually starting now. Thank you. Welcome to the Recon Specialist TV. I'm your host, Patrick. With us, as always, we have one Mr. Robert Monroe with his headphones too loud, I think. Or maybe... oh, yeah. No, never mind. It's Shaun. I can hear myself talking back to myself.
And I'll kill the volume a little.
Perfect.
Okay, so let's just want you to hear you say it. Oh,
What?
was it you, Padre?
No, it still is you. It's always you.
Bite me, you wench.
I know, right? Anyways, we are here with the man, the myth, the legend.
The legend.
Go ahead. You do it better than I do, Padre.
The man, the myth, and the legend, Shaun 2.0, HOTAC Tiernan.
Oh,
Thank you, fans.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much for doing this. I mean, I remember I asked you, I think 6 months ago, and you're like, I'm not ready.
I don't know that I'm still don't know that I'm ready.
Yeah, I know, right?
He wanted to see if we stayed on the air. If we had stage power.
If we
Okay.
basic staying power. This is all free. Doesn't actually cost a lot of money, but anyways.
Yeah.
Today we're doing HOTAC Ask Me Anything of Mr. One Shaun Tiernan, who is, to me, the lead developer of the second edition Heroes of the Aturi Cluster.
Or the one that out-survived the other. One of the two.
Oh my god. And right now we have so much to get through. But before we start, a quick word from Recon Tokens. Stop off at recontokens.com for all of your gaming needs. Magic the Gathering, X-Wing, Pokemon, Star Wars, role-playing, and much, much more. Don't see your game? Email us at recontokens.com. Go to recontokens.com, email us at recontokens@gmail.com, and we can provide you with a custom order without breaking your bank for your favorite tabletop or board game. Recon Tokens, it's time to elevate your tokens. Good God, I'm out of that one.
Yeah.
I have to get that out of the way. Let's start. One Mr. Shaun Tiernan, where are you from and what are you drinking?
All right. Brisbane, Australia. Originally from Melbourne, moved up here a couple of years ago. Never looked back. My drink of choice at the moment, coffee. But then again, it is still only 11:30 in the morning here.
Yeah.
I'm sure you will see me with a beer in hand. Yeah, guys, I'd really love to start with a big thank you list.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Our pleasure.
Kind of been the chief pilot behind the 2.0 conversion, but there's a few people that this would not have happened without, not in a pink fit. Really, Josh Dirksen, right off the top. If Josh hadn't done such a good job on 1.0, there wouldn't be a 2.0.
Oh,
Bill Waller and Justin Gann for their work on the layouts and everything. Bill did all the campaign book and the missions. Justin did an amazing job on the AI layouts.
Oh, yes. He's currently redoing it, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
Yeah, the new double-sided version with stress on the back.
Yes.
Which is pretty amazing. Klaus Sorensen and the FGA team. Klaus has done most of the work on the AI.
Yep.
If I'd had to do the AI, it probably would have been a project breaker. That would have been a step too far.
You wouldn't give it to FFG? But
They did make a 15-page document.
We're going to cover that. Yeah. We're so going to cover that today because I'm excited to talk about it.
Oh, yeah. FGA, you guys, for promoting the whole 2.0 thing. The Facebook community have just been fantastic in their support of it.
5,000 strong. What are we at? 5 or 3,000?
4,600, I think, was the last count.
Let me see.
So there's an awful lot of them.
Oh, God, yes. I'm in the HOTAC page. Why isn't it showing me? It usually tells me the number of... 4,618 members strong. I love
Not
it.
a bad run.
Not at all.
Yeah. Also, a quick thank you to my local squad, the Fearless Gundar.
Love them.
Got to give the squad a plug. And a big shout out to my little girl, Brittany, down there in Melbourne, who, even though she has no interest in X-Wing, thought she'd tune in and watch Dad at work.
Absolutely. It's fun. You know, you get to see him on Twitch. You can leave a comment. Oh, there it is. Hi, Brittany. Thank you for joining us tonight. We hope we exceed your expectation, which is probably a very low bar. But
Or maybe we should just tell her to lower her expectations really far down.
No, like that's what I'm saying. If her expectations was 0, I'm sure we'll exceed that.
Yeah, because like we suck, but
What? That's
we suck.
Oh, great. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next month.
Okay,
Anyway.
we don't suck that bad. I mean, I don't think we're like in last place or nothing.
We don't suck that bad. I think we're doing just fine. Right, chat? Great. Anyways.
Nothing. I hear crickets, man. I hear crickets. There's nothing out there.
I mean, like my first question is.
Thank you, Chuck.
Yes, yeah, there you go, Chuck. When did you get into HOTAC, or did you get into second edition? Did you get into first edition first? What, like, how did you get into X-Wing?
Got into X-Wing. I just thought it looked good. Jokingly said to my oldest daughter one year when she said, "What would you like for Father's Day?" "Oh, buy me the X-Wing core set." Thank you very much, Abby.
Why didn't you just say go out?
That's how it starts.
Why don't you just say go out and buy me crack?
Yeah,
that's,
be cheaper.
Probably would be cheaper
and less addictive.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have a play group, I was searching for something that can be done solo and discovered this.
Yeah, this is it.
And started on that, and then bit the bullet and started traveling a little bit to games nights at local stores.
That's awesome. So, like, when you first started it, first edition, you said?
First edition.
First edition. Beautiful. How many times did you play through it? I want to know if you've beaten me.
I think I played, it was towards the end of first edition. I think I played through the full campaign 3 times.
All right. I hold that record, at least. Thank goodness. Because I never get to leave the house. My co-host, Mr. Padre. Oh, no. Yeah. No, I did go right direction. He doesn't get to leave the house very much because of health conditions and all that jazz. I think I introduced Padre into HOTAC. I don't think he played before I did. Before he met me.
I played at Stomping Grounds.
You mean you weren't a virgin before you met me?
No, honey, I wasn't. Sorry, sweetie. So I had very little experience, and then we were playing, all that HOTAC. I mean, oh my God, we played months of HOTAC.
Well, it wasn't until Shaun posted, he goes, "Hey, we're updating the second edition." Me and you, I immediately started playing it and testing it out, and we were so happy with it. We definitely tried to break it, and we successfully broke it many times.
Oh yeah,
we contacted Shaun many times.
I'm happy to say I successfully fixed it many times.
Because we really enjoyed breaking it.
Mm-hmm.
Without the sort of feedback that you guys were channeling through to me, though, it's really, when you do something like this, you want people to try and break it.
Yep.
It's the only way you're ever going to get it right.
That's one of the questions too. That, like, I'm so giddy. I just want to skip the news right now, but we have to get to the FFG news. But Padre, anything else before we get started with tonight?
Really, the greatest news of all, Michigan is now almost, sorta, kinda getting closer to open.
We're moving to phase 2 Monday of 3.
We're hoping, like, they opened up the Upper Peninsula where all 3 people live,
Yep.
up for good, And
Oh, jeez.
then the northern half of Michigan, where the other 7 live, so
Yep.
that's 10. They're opening that up, and we might be able to get haircuts by the middle of June.
I mean, everyone who is watching now, and please stay safe. We understand if you would like to
Wear your masks.
wear your masks. You know, social distancing. You know, if you're involved in protesting, and if you get caught
Don't
up
drink
in riots,
Lysol.
yeah, don't drink Lysol either. Please stay safe, everyone, regardless of what that means.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
As long as it
Is
has
that
a
what you had in
respirator.
mind?
Yeah. As long as you have a respirator, that works just as great. Oh my god.
Yeah, he fits right in, Patrick.
Oh, I know. I want to get to the FFG news because we have a lot of news that is
Yeah,
been
yeah,
happening.
yeah,
Um,
because something happened.
well, hold on. We're gonna get first. Let's go to Gen Con. Everyone knows, like everything's been canceled until basically October.
Next
We
year.
don't. Yeah, we don't even know if Worlds is happening. Um,
Yeah.
However, Gen Con is still going virtual. So if you want to learn how to paint, if you want to play certain games online, like D&D,
And they're going to have other online seminars.
yeah, exactly. I don't know
And
if they'll
they're
have any
looking
X-wing, but
they're looking for people who
yes,
wish to host things. So if you've got something that you think that you can do digitally,
yeah,
in the virtual format, definitely get a hold of them because they're looking for people. There's still going to be 60,000 people who wanted to do something for that weekend, and if there's only the digital format available, well then quite a few of them are going to want to do it. And considering Gen Con made this registration for free,
yes, you can
there's
absolutely
no
sign up for free,
cost,
which is, I think, that's
which
Yeah, but
incredible.
this
yeah,
is the only way I'm ever going to get to Gen Con.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
you
yeah,
saved
It's
like
awesome.
$5,000, and like I'm not gonna. I have no idea what type of events they're going to have there, but I'm sure there's a game. Like my friends love Pathfinders. I mean, I don't know if the Shuttle Tidirium are going to continue their or Grim missions for X-wing, or if there's going to be Heroes of the Aturi Cluster there, because I know there are people that are actually teaching it live there when Gen Con's happening on the gaming floor.
yeah,
Um, Even Chad's teaching people how to play X-wing. I'm sure he wouldn't mind teaching people online either, because it's easy enough to set up a table, just with a camera, run it, and show people how to play X-wing, and they can
yeah,
leave comments and stuff like that. So very
yeah,
exciting.
absolutely,
I'm happy.
absolutely, yeah.
And so next thing, uh, we are basically in the virtual age right now of X-wing.
Yeah, yeah, we seem to have been thrown into that age, kicking and screaming, and everybody at the very beginning was just all in a panic, and then they broke Vassal, and that was bad.
Oh, I know.
and and then once they fixed Vassal and got that up and running again, and then everybody was like, "Oh, well, there's TTS," and uh, that thing, it used to be when Patrick and I would go on to TTS, it'd be like, well, let me find your room. Oh, there it is. Now it's like searching through 5,000
Oh,
games,
it takes a while to
Yeah.
search through them.
and don't just say X-wing because there's 100 games.
Yes.
You can't just do that anymore. You got to be very specific, and all of these tournaments have sprouted up and everything like that.
Yeah.
So it's really good.
It's
It's
I've
really
I
good.
think to a certain extent, it's been fantastic for the game in general with having to go this way because now you're playing against players from all over the world that otherwise you never would have had a chance to play against.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I've
definitely.
I've already played somebody from Australia, Germany, England, Canada, and where else? There's like two other countries that I've played as well.
Yeah.
And that's just in like 3 tournaments that I've been in. So it's absolutely amazing that we're able to do this.
But one of our guys last week saying, "Oh, I got beaten by some guy from the UK called Ollie."
Just happens to be the top player in the world, but yeah.
Yeah, Oh, we gave him heaps. You know, how the hell could you lose to a Pocknell? Seriously.
Oh, I played. Oh God, what is his name? Freaking starts with a J. He's Ollie's like best friend, and
Ugh.
he's the second player in the world, and he was like my first opponent of my first tournament that I signed up for. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Like,
Yeah.
like, can't just find a local player or something like. No, I gotta play the top two. I did horrible. I did very bad. But I mean, with this, these are the updates that I have found and have discovered. Vassal now has HOTAC. I don't think it has Epic yet, and it has a lot of new key features that they're just throwing in there as much as possible, like with your list loading, how you can measure for arcs and overlaying obstacles and marking your ships and different stuff like that.
I think they're trying to get up to TTS quality.
Oh, yeah, TTS now has fully functioning. Well, it's always had HOTAC, but it is functioning HOTAC. It has fully functioning Epic. It
Yep.
has X-wing with arc measurements, custom mats, custom dice, custom everything. So
Yeah, you could pretty much do anything, and even I
yeah,
got into a tournament.
yes, I signed you up for you.
Yes.
I had to.
I was
Okay.
told.
No,
I was told.
He was supposed to
Andre,
play.
I
Yeah.
got our tickets
He was.
for the tournament.
God
What
damn it.
tickets? The
You were
tickets that you're playing in.
in the
You and I are
OOO.
playing in the tournament.
I forced you to sign up. You were supposed to play in the other system open for God knows what, and you dropped like that morning and didn't tell me. And I was like, who are you playing? You're like, I'm not playing today. I'm like, you son of a bitch. You left me out high and dry.
Whoops.
Oh, see, and freaking Chuck got paired up against Sarah Tessam right out of the gate. Like, yeah, annihilated, I bet. Oh, she's so tough. So, anyway, have you been playing any tournaments, Sean? Or is it all HOTAC now?
No, I actually don't play a lot of competitive. I do fly casual with the squad every Wednesday night. We're actually hoping to kick off a HOTAC campaign this week on Thursdays.
Love it, love it.
Which will be fun. I'm more a fly casual kind of guy than a tournament guy, but having said that, store championships once a month I try to get to if I don't have to work.
Where are you, Sean? He's from Australia. We covered that. Chuck, what the heck?
He's from Philadelphia. Can't you tell from his accent? God, Chuck.
Oh man. Well, if he was Austrian, no, Austrian?
Not
No,
Austrian. He's
if he was
Australian with an
no,
L.
no, I was gonna
Austrian, he
say,
sound like that's right. I'll be back. I'll be
Yeah.
doing bad things to you on the map.
I'll be back. It is very sunny in Vienna at the moment.
well, of
Yeah.
course, no, I was gonna say if he's from New Zealand, apparently that America doesn't acknowledge New Zealand as a country right now, according to like.
Wait. There's a country called New Zealand?
It's right next to Australia. They're not a one country or continent.
I thought there was like Hawaii. It's a little island.
I was 5 minutes late. Cut me a break. Oh God, I'm never gonna cut you a break.
Oh wait,
Wow, that's
if you guys
always fun.
actually started on time and told people where to tune in.
I started on time, and we're the a-holes.
Yeah, right.
Anyways, so the other thing is the actual, not the Fly Casual channel. I love you guys anyways. The Fly Casual application that you can download from GitHub that is now online for multiplayer. It's a little bit of legwork, but you can actually play within Fly Casual if you prefer that application and play against someone online. It's stable, it works, and I like Fly Casual because it auto does everything for you. All you have to do is just click and tell you what you want. I hate that you can't go back. Once you make a mistake, you're screwed. You're stuck with that decision.
So it's kind of like real X-wing playing against that guy.
Yeah, everyone's just the rules Nazi. It's ridiculous. Yeah, we were supposed to spend 5 minutes on that, but we went over.
Yeah, of course we did, because that's what we do.
Oh Jesus! All right, now we're gonna dive right into.
We gotta do it.
What the solo?
Solo.
Oh, I did that right in front of your face. There you go.
Solo.
Where's Old Zealand? I think it's in.
Chihuahua solo.
All right. So first impressions, Padre. Let's get with the salt.
Um. Oh God, there's so much. It it sucks. No, no. Actually, I can't say that it sucks.
No.
If you want a very, very simplified opponent that forgets about you if you're in back of them, solo is fantastic. Uh, it will allow you to do. You know what I would say? The best way to describe it, it would be like a very early version of Fly Casual. It was very simple. It was there's no frills to it yet. I think they're working out a lot of the issues that it has because we managed to break it within the first 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we broke it in the first 45 seconds. Um,
We tested it.
but
I tested it 4 times. I don't know how many times Padre tested it. He was with
I
me when I tested it.
yeah, and I took it for a spin myself, and I got okay. When K Wings win everything, there's a problem. Um,
That's just not true.
so it's very simple right now. I think it has room to grow, but when you look at the AI that is out there from HOTAC, you cannot compare the two. I mean, it's just it's like, oh, what a nice Yugo. I'm going to get into my Bentley now. Okay, it's that kind of a difference. Right now, this is a Yugo, and HOTAC would be, a Bentley.
Yeah.
The AI can't. You just can't compare the two. The whole dice rolling thing. It just.
Yep.
I mean, if you want to try some basic ideas against a really stupid opponent, boom, set up the solo and go to town.
Yeah. All right, Shaun. Go
Uh,
ahead. You have the
Wait,
floor.
Let
What?
me lay. Okay.
You're out of the camera. You can't see you.
No.
I think the thing everybody's got to remember first up, it is an alpha.
Yes.
It's a first draft.
Yeah.
There is a hell of a lot of room for improvement. I did
Yes.
run a couple of tests with the HOTAC AI versus solo. It was like Ollie Pocknell playing against me. Did
Yeah.
not turn out very well for the solo. One thing I think people have to remember is being an alpha and FFG having asked for feedback, which I think is a great thing. I'm seeing a lot of posts on Facebook where people are saying, oh, we changed this, we changed that, we changed something else, which then makes it really hard to test the alpha rules and give feedback on them. You've got to play them in the format that they're presented. No, it's tough. I know it can get a little bit dull, but if you want to play test it, there's no point house ruling a lot of the stuff. You end up with a skewed view of what the rules can do. Look, for a big round of applause to FFG for finally, after many years of people saying, "Where's our solo rules?" finally coming up with them.
Unfortunately, though, they were made by the same people that did the app. So, yeah.
That's not a
Yeah.
fact.
Are you sure, though?
Yeah.
They do have a much bigger remit than we have with HOTAC. They're trying to cover all, what is it, 85, 86 ships.
Yeah.
It is a big task, and I think they're on the right track. I just think it still needs a lot of refinement.
Absolutely.
I'm certainly not going to write them off.
No.
Will they ever replace a HOTAC AI within HOTAC? No. I think the individual ship cards actually give them character.
Yeah. Well, HOTAC has what, 4 or 5 years of a head start with AI.
Yeah.
So that's been very fine-tuned, and even then they're still updating it constantly because people want it to be more like playing a human or actually playing a computer. They want it fine-tuned to where it can possibly beat them constantly.
Well, I think the last update was only a month, not even a month ago.
Yeah.
So it's constantly being improved.
Oh, absolutely. Like, well, that's the thing. I have my daughter play against me. I let her use the AI. I teach her which moves to do, and it beats me.
Yeah,
It's not saying much, but
yeah,
that's
and
where
then
we are.
it flies for your daughter, and then she picks the right actions every time and
And the right
shoots and beats
targets.
you every time. Oh my god, I love it when you play her.
Oh, I know. I want to keep doing it too. She's a blast
I
to play
love it as
against.
she just smacks you around the table and you whimper in the corner a little bit, and then
Yep.
she just smiles really pretty, and it's great to watch.
I,
Uh,
this is like so. My 2 cents on this. Again, great start. It is alpha. So this is something that somebody probably had in a folder somewhere. They dusted it off and said, "Hey, by the way, while you guys are stuck at home, here's this." It's a very
Yeah,
large document. It takes a little bit of time to get used to all the things. Um, but I'm as much as I love that FFG threw it to us, I'm hoping that they brace themselves for the criticism. Because
you know what? I think they're ready for the criticism because let's face it, that's what they get most of the time whenever they do
oh, I
anything.
know. But within a day, somebody refined it to 1 or 2 pages, and they actually separated them back into ships instead of the because I don't think a zero stop is on here. I don't like. It does somewhat tell you what to do with
Yeah,
criticals when you accept them, but that's the other thing. It's very subjective to the actual player. It's not the AI deciding it for you. So when it says do a 2 bank or a 2 hard, or the average bank and average hard, I still have to make that decision on which it's better for, and it's not always clear cut. So
yeah.
yeah.
they're gonna have to refine it a lot. I like the attempt though. It's cute.
But
Well, hold on.
like you guys said, it is alpha.
Well, that's the thing. If you play the solo exactly the way it has in this manual, you'll have a blast. Things will jump on the board. You might all of a sudden get just completely pig piled or dog piled on, and they might just blow you up in one turn. Or you might have it to where they just kind of like fly subtly to the left, and you just keep shooting at them until they finally maybe you might roll lucky. That's basically it, because we figured out like the K turn only comes up, I think, 3 out of the 11 times when you roll dice,
Yeah,
which is
and
And
it
very
TIE fighters never do it too hard.
yeah, it's very weird, very weird the way that it is. But again, it'll take them a minute. Sounds like when Dad and I play games. Yep. Thank you, Brittany. I love it.
Brittany, if you mention Munchkin, I will fly to Melbourne and slap you.
Yeah, exactly. But FFG, thank you for this. Anyways, it was
yeah.
fun to play. Um, I just don't recommend it using it as an AI for a 206 match or starting the ships on board edge to board edge. Do the
No,
hyperspace tokens. That's my recommendation.
and try out the scenarios with it.
Exactly. It is a lot of fun because it did kill box me at one point because I said, well, they're just gonna fly off into the corner of the board, and they didn't. They actually all K turned and they kill boxed me because I was expecting it to fly dumb.
I remember I did laugh at you. I mean, I did laugh at the. Well, no, I laughed at you.
Oh,
When
well,
that
hey,
happened.
I'm like at a 75% win rate against this AI because the other times it just let me shoot at it from behind and I just
Oh
blew
yeah,
them
that
up.
was hilarious. It kept like slowly turning to the right, and and Patrick's just like 1 bank to the right.
And
Oh, shoot.
and that's the
One
thing.
bank to the
You're
right.
you're
Oh,
going. You're like, no, no, that's not. That can't. That
yeah.
no. And you're with me, and you're like, no, that's exactly what it does. I'm like, but that's stupid. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, moving on.
Oh god. All right. That's it with FFG news. Let's get to the basic reason why everyone's here. We're going to fire away questions over at our guest, one Mr. Shaun Tiernan, and he's going to answer all of your dirty little questions about HOTAC 2.0, basically. What is that?
Sorry, I should have silenced my phone.
I was like, that's
It's
awesome.
not me.
I'm still blaming Padre. So I know Shaun had lots of look at the questions already. I'm sure he has some answers prepared. But I mean, let's go with the first one, which is my favorite one. What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Okay. I had
I
to
went-
laugh when I read that.
This is new silver dad.
It's got to be either choc mint
Ooh,
or
chocolate mint.
licorice, but it has to be in a waffle cone.
I've never had
Okay,
licorice ice
waffle
cream.
cone I can go with. Licorice, that's just wrong against humanity. And the mint chocolate chip, I'm all with you.
How dare you, mint?
Also a bit of a fan of butterscotch.
Butterscotch is good. Yeah.
I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
I thought you said a bottle of scotch, but then I was like, no, it's butterscotch, you idiot. What do you?
No, okay, a bottle of scotch, butterscotch. I can see either
I
way.
think I got one somewhere behind the green screen.
Oh man, now I want to own an ice creamery bar to where
Oh my God, yeah.
there's a full bar behind me, and we're an ice cream bar. Can I have a bottle of scotch? A butterscotch? No, a bottle of scotch.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, no,
right
we can
here.
do that. Yeah, we can do that. All right. Anyways, next question. Chewy is my co-pilot 894. How many testers do you have, and how do you test the? Well, let's start with that. How many testers do you have?
Okay, for testing, I'm reliant on me and the community for feedback. I have gotten a lot of really good feedback, most of which has found its way into changes.
Nice, but like, do you like? I'm not. We're trying to toot our own horn, but do you have a dedicated testing group or someone that you're in constant contact or feedback with besides us? Because yes.
Oh, look, generally the feedback will come through via the Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
You are the only group that I have constant contact with.
Sorry.
Having said that, I've played the entire campaign probably 8 or 10 times now.
You definitely have us
does
beat on that.
So does that mean our names go on the box?
Oh, they will.
No.
I've got a funny feeling they may be in the already be in the credits.
Oh, jeez. God.
Oh no!
I'm sorry, everyone, if it beats you up constantly.
It's the only time I win, so it's okay.
All right, next question. How do you test the difficulty of missions? Because you have to do it on ship count, initiative count, and then you have the entire grid of what comes on when. So, how do you test all that? It's incredible.
Repeated playing. It's that simple. It can get very tedious, and there were times when I was working on it where I just got to the point where no, it's going away for 2 weeks. Literally playing is the only way to test the balance. Full credit to Josh Dirksen again. The balance on the missions was so good from 0.07
Yep.
that there was very little change needed to it.
So even when moving into second edition, it wasn't like I have to figure out the force, I have to figure out this, and this combination of upgrades. Like, where does it to where the number of players with the initiative and then all of the new stuff that 2.0 combines? Because now you have mobile turrets instead of actual just like twin laser turrets on Y-wings, which would just absolutely decimate HOTAC. Like,
God.
yeah, well, that's the thing. But like now there's with Dutch on top of the force on top of like all these abilities that just make it to where almost every every shot's modded, and you have proton torps. Like, I don't think it's any different than first edition there, but there are still like components to this game that were definitely not in first edition.
Yeah, but there's been a lot of stuff removed too, like guidance chips. Some of the pilot talents or the EPTs from first edition just made it literally. I'm rolling 4 dice and I'm going to get 4 crits.
Yep.
The changes between the two, kind of what was taken out, what was put in, kind of tended to balance themselves out. And as Josh said in the original version, the whole idea behind this is to build broken ships that you would never have a chance to play in reality.
Yep.
If you restricted HOTAC to strictly legal builds, the Imperials would be overwhelming.
Oh yeah, 100%. my team learned that out early. They're like, this is it is so cute when they're all around the table and the first time they're playing this, like, this is the AI. It's stupid. It's gonna do a two bank, and then all the squad 4Ks and they all bump into the like, and they're like, I didn't expect that. I'm like, you shouldn't. It's not gonna fly like a human. It's not gonna do the logical. It's an AI system. It's going to do whatever it's told to do. Oh my god, but it's fun. All right, so people, if you are playing HOTAC, if you find anything wrong, I won't say wrong. If you find irregularities, if you want to become a tester, jump on in and just start going into Facebook. Do we have a Discord page or a Discord channel?
There is, but it's a bit scattered.
Okay,
A bit
maybe we should.
scattered and random. I'm more than happy if anybody has any comment on any of the missions or balancing and stuff.
Yep.
Chuck it on the Facebook page. Tag me in it. I'll get around to answering it as quickly as I can.
Yeah. Oh no, he's 11 minutes. I think is his like slowest response. It's ridiculous.
If I'm not at
man.
work, I generally respond fairly quickly.
Yeah, exactly. All right, this question I think we might have answered, but we're going to ask it anyways. With the release of Alpha Solo from FFG, is there a will to adapt it to our AI charts? Thank you, Frog2, for that answer. Or that question, rather.
It's interesting actually because I was looking on Facebook this morning and somebody has actually organized the solo charts, but the way they've done it is to use a HOTAC template.
Yeah.
Which is a testament to, again, to HOTAC. I think we're always going to stick with the individual ship cards. It gives them character, it gives them personality. You do get that individualized action sequence. Going to solo, look, if I wanted to throw in a ship that there wasn't an AI card for, I might try solo to see how it works, but that is about as close as it will get.
Okay. Like, because yours, current, or not yours, but the current AI is you roll a six-headed die. It then tells you what the maneuver is, and then it goes through a key chart for actions. So it'll say, if you have something in arc, take a focus. If you don't have anything to shoot, try to barrel roll so it gets a shot. Try to barrel roll to get out of being shot, and then take an evade. That's just for the TIE fighter. Different ships, of course, have completely different action bars and different skills. Like, you don't want your bomber taking a focus when it has munition. Well, not me, but the AI's bomber. It wants to take the target lock. It has munitions. It wants to fire those off, especially depending on the mission. Like if it has ion torps, you're trying to ionize an epic ship. So this, I don't see it being incorporated too heavily either, because it doesn't have that action. The only thing I do like is it does roll to see what its maneuver is, and that's its attitude on how it handles that maneuver. But HOTAC is just like, am I at range 4? I'm screaming at you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would like a slower mode like this, kind of, but I much rather have the six-headed die for now as well.
The only problem with the attitude is, as it is at the moment, and again, I can only stress that it's still alpha.
Yep.
Things like the TIE bomber, the chances of it taking a lock are greatly reduced. Because of the attitude, it actually kind of hampers ordnance carrying ships.
Yeah, it gets stuck sometimes. That's the problem. It's
Yeah.
It's a Roomba. It's a Roomba.
Yeah, it keeps hitting the chair leg. Just bang, 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 like that. Yeah.
Holy Jesus. All right. So Wolf's Head has asked directly from the chat, are there plans to create campaigns for other eras, Resistance or Clone?
Yes, there are. There's already some very good ones in response to a competition that I think Jeffrey Bain coordinated last year. There's already some really good Clone Wars era ones there.
Yep.
They haven't been updated to 2.0, but that shouldn't take a whole lot of work.
Yep.
There are plans. There's also, and this will probably answer another question before we get to it.
Yeah.
There's also plans to do in atmosphere missions, ground support, air support. Also want to do something that includes the Tantive.
Yeah. Well, it jumps right into the next question. Oh, thank you for the follow, Wolf Chat. Hey, there you go. uh, Any plans on incorporating formations from Epic Play into the AI, perhaps also giving players the opportunity to upgrade to a wingman that stays in formation? That is from Quick Build is the best build. I love that.
Okay, that's a pretty easy one. The epic movement rules will definitely be in the next optional rules doc. FGA already use that as standard, so with their permission, I will be just putting their movement rules for the AI into the optional rules document.
Yep.
Wingmen is something that has come up repeatedly. And the answer is pretty much no. Reason being, it does make the player ships a little bit too OP. Unless you count the extra ship as an extra player, but then that starts to limit the player count that you can have.
Yeah, well, because 312 did do it the other night to where they fly in formation, and are your dials set? I don't have a dial. My player is setting my dial for me. I'm just flying with them, and I choose to shoot. That's about it.
Yeah, even there has been talk about having a wingman for your own ship, so that they just fly together. Having said no, one of the beauties of HOTAC that I've always liked, house rules. If you want to house rule something like that in, feel free.
Yep. It's just a question of are you going to develop into that and stuff like that? I mean, if the answer is no, then then do it on your own accord, and there's no reason why you can't develop it on your own.
I don't expect anybody to stick slavishly to what's in the update.
Yeah. Next question, which I think this is already in there, but I didn't notice it, but that's okay. From Display Zero, will there be excuse me, everyone. Will there be updates to the game to include new obstacles? Will certain devices be banned?
New obstacles. Okay. Other than gas clouds, everything is pretty much covered already.
Yep.
Plus, we have ion clouds and ion storms.
Yes.
If you want to apply the gas cloud rules to ion clouds, that works okay. Ion storms, obviously, they're different. The beauty of HOTAC, it's so flexible. You could take any of the terrain from the core X-Wing rules, throw it on the table, and it will work.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the other thing. Would you say that the AI would be any different with gas clouds compared to asteroids or debris?
Not really, no. No, I would say that they would still ignore gas clouds the way they ignore ion clouds.
Oh, okay.
If you look at, I base that on the fact that if you look at the majority of players, they will not travel around a gas cloud. They'll just go straight through
it. Exactly. Oh man, do they ever?
Oh yeah.
Especially swarms. Gas clouds are a very interesting thing because they will literally just look at it and go, no, I'm going right through it. I don't care if I get the strain because I can still do my afterburns. I can still spend a force to do a booster barrel roll. I get all the things. I don't care. Oh, gas clouds. I love you. Adorable. Let's see. What was the next question? I think this was... Okay, from BC Bear. We kind of answered this one, but does HOTAC plan on making a non-Rebels campaign? And if so, are there any plans to differentiate mission types with things like ground assault style missions with stand-ins for planetary or stationary emplacements?
Wow, That was
I know.
that was a big question.
That's a mouthful. Okay.
And there's no.
Campaigns for other factions. Flight Group Alpha.
Yep, that is.
Absolutely, if you want an empire-driven campaign. For the moment, I'm planning on sticking with Rebels rather than trying to make it too broad an appeal. Which again doesn't stop anybody else creating missions and campaign arcs of their own. Pardon me.
No worries.
And
We'll edit
as
that.
I said, in atmosphere missions, ground support, etc., they're all definitely on the agenda.
Yes. Oh man, that's gonna be so exciting.
Look,
So-
on the subject of missions, if people are creating great story arcs and things like that, I would be more than happy to see them incorporated into the campaign book.
Yeah.
I would love to have a campaign book that had sections for rebels, scum, first order. It just adds more to the game.
Yeah. Well, they all used to be together, so back in the day, you could like get Poe Dameron in Heroes of the Aturi Cluster, but now they're all 7 factions. So it's interesting because people now want. Well, no, I don't want Poe Dameron with Luke Skywalker. I want Poe Dameron to have his own thing, and it's like, okay, well, I'll get to work as soon as possible.
Well, it almost seems that HOTAC can go the way of D&D, where anybody can write a good story. Anybody can write a good campaign. And as long as you follow the general rules of HOTAC, sky's the limit, baby. Go for it. Write it up, play it up, and have a good time. Is that a fair assumption, Shaun?
Absolutely. Look, one of the driving factors behind the way I did the update was the fact that everybody was familiar with 0.7. There was a hell of a lot of fan-made stuff for 0.7. I wanted to update it to 2.0, and I called it 2.07 as a tribute to 0.7. I wanted something that people could hit the ground running with.
Yep.
But because there is such a wealth of material out there for first edition, if there was stuff there that people really liked, it would be much easier to convert if it was all kept on the same framework.
Yeah. And then to answer your question, Chuck, there is a Scum campaign, but and forgive me, people who play the Scum campaign, I've seen it before. I don't know exactly where it is. I've seen it posted in certain areas. It's kind of like in the dust, but it does exist if you search for it, and you can even create your own because there already is AI for every ship in the game. So if you did want to all of a sudden run through the Heroes of the Aturi campaign and you said, I want to do First Order and Resistance, go right ahead. Substitute those ships in and out. You might have a scaling issue, but it's available. But go ahead.
And if you do have a scaling issue, let us know so we can.
so Shaun can run through it 10 more times with the First Order and Resistance.
Yeah, why not? Can
Why
you
not?
gentlemen talk amongst yourselves for 60 seconds? I will be right back.
No, take your time.
Sure.
Because there is their own little Scum campaign that you can look for. I don't know if it's also up to 2nd edition, but again, you can reference the HOTAC book and use that as a scaling method. So instead of your TIE fighters, those are Z95s, and if it's an interceptor, it's an X-wing. Just substitute them out, and you can have those missions. Because this game basically, Flight Group Alpha, which is the Imperial version, strived exactly from the TIE Fighter video game. So those campaigns are mixed into that. And that's generally where it strives from. I'm excited to get into Flight Group Alpha because it is completely different from HOTAC in the sense of you don't just gain experience and buy stuff. You actually get promoted to different levels depending on how you do in specific missions and stuff like that. But I do want to do a Scum run through as well, because when you play X-Wing, the computer game, because it was X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, there were times to where Scum would just show up with like 4 Y-Wings, and they were trying to steal your cargo bay or cargo, ship, and you just had to blow them up. You either had a Y-Wing, X-Wing, or A-Wing, B-Wing, whatever the heck it was. So, like, all those things are in existence. It's just some legwork might have to be used for the time being. Yeah, I know you would love to fly Mux in HOTAC. Is that he's the one that makes everyone Initiative 0? Because he wouldn't really do much against Initiative 1 TIE fighters, but whatever.
Yeah, but if you don't see it out there, write it. Do it.
Yeah, and then message someone from Flight Group Alpha if you play that, or HOTAC, and they'll see if they can incorporate that, or they'll give you at least feedback on it. Because I mean, that's another question for Shaun once we get through all these questions. Because again, thank you everyone for submitting your questions. Because there are a lot of people out there that ask questions every single day on how to play the game and how to get better and how to figure out what it meant at this point, or what should I do in this mission at this point, because I'm not sure to understand, and Shaun just gets right back immediately. Yeah. Are you ready, Shaun?
I'm ready.
This is a nice one. I like this one. What are your favorite pilot abilities or talent combinations?
Well, you've got to say wedge. Because, well, wedge.
Yes.
Without maneuver. That's so wholesome.
There you go, Chuck. That's literally what he has in his.
There's a lot of good ones. I love chucking a dorsal turret on a Y-wing and then giving it a veteran gunner. Double tap. Proton bombs on Y-wings. I've played so many different combinations of pilot, pilot upgrades, ships. It's really hard to pick a standout.
Yeah.
I would really love to use one of my favorite pilots is LOAST.
Oh, Elo, yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's...
that white T-roll is just vicious.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, look, stacking stuff like outmaneuver, predator, marksmanship, things like that. A lot of the support ships, you can build a Hawk that is just absolute shenanigans. But there's so many different ways to do it.
I was gonna say, I've seen other people play HOTAC. The Hawk does not usually make an appearance, and I don't know why. It's such a good ship to have.
Gentlemen, I'm having an issue that I have to take care of.
No problem.
So I'm gonna bow out of here. Okay.
Have fun.
Yeah, family first, Robert.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Don't worry, we got the chat here. Chat is going to continue.
We'll chat at another time, okay?
We will do this again, my friend.
Absolutely.
All right.
Come back if you can. Ah! Well, what happened? Oh, it's because this moved. Here, we're gonna move. Hold on, people, because now Shaun's over with me, and he can't. There we go.
I can see. I can't see your little window anymore.
I know, it's all going crazy because Padre ducked out. He should have just kept it on mute, but whatever. We can keep going with questions. So that was weird. Like, yeah, wedge and out maneuver, absolutely.
Yeah.
Reducing an X-wing to absolutely nothing is hilarious. It is something that it's a sight to see, because TIE fighters either die immediately or live forever. And always. I don't, it's just one of those hokey things. And all of a sudden, you can't kill this one little TIE fighter that's on the board, and oh, here comes your Initiative 6 ship, just wipes it out. It's hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
I can't.
Which with R3 to take multiple locks.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what my group did. They took a bunch of R3s with Dutch's ability, There's a ton of other stuff out there as well. So like where you just basically spam everything together. It's incredible how many combinations you can get off with it.
Mm.
And that's the thing. Like one of the other questions, like how do you feel about people who add house rules to HOTAC?
Go for it.
And well, it's like because that's the increase to the question is so when people break the game, are you happy with that, or does that like you're like screw him, I'll make it to where they never can break it again, and like that's it.
Oh, look, I'm happy when people break the game, because that is how the game is going to improve. And it depends on what the break is. Just as an aside, too, mate, I've just been told we're zoomed very far onto my shirt on on Twitch.
No, we're good. You're good. We're up to date. You're now in the
Yeah.
box.
Okay. It depends on what you mean by breaking the game. The
Well,
game is meant to be broken. Wedge out maneuver, all that sort of stuff. Finding holes, I'm glad when people find them because then we can fix them. One of the things that I have tried very hard to do since I released the update was where there were grey areas in the rules, make a definitive ruling.
yes.
What does the AI do? Good one came up the other day. Time Bomber has a lock. Its locked target is at range 4, but I now have a target at range 3. What does the bomber do? It'll switch targets. That's kind of a grey area. Things like, can I have a wingman? That's not a grey area. So if you want to go ahead and do it, great. House rule, but stuff that can be, for lack of a better way to put it, officially ruled, it would be so much, it's going to be so much easier if everybody's playing from the base set of rules the same.
Yeah.
Rather than one group going, oh no, the bomber keeps its lock, and another group going, oh no, the bomber swaps locks. That's a rules question. Things like, can I have a wingman?
Yeah. Well,
That's a more general thing,
the question
and to taste.
the question that came up was homing missiles, which was asked a long time ago.
Yeah.
But it comes up. It's like so if you have homing missiles and you've locked an AI, does it take the damage, or does it allow you to attack it? And it's okay. Well, it takes the damage unless it has one hull left, and then in that case, it takes the shot instead. It's always going to take that one, which is an excellent question because now it's, well, subjective. I'm at range 3 through a rock. Do I take the shot? I have focus of 8. I should dodge it easily. Why would I take 1 damage? But no, the AI is just going to take the 1 because that's the safer guarantee, basically.
Yeah. How many ships have we seen at range 3 through a rock with a focus token? Blank out.
Yeah, exactly. Too many times.
I'm looking at you, Nobby, in case you're watching.
Yeah. Oh, God. It's way too many times have I seen that to where I'm like, I've got 4 green dice, focus evade. I'm not going to get hurt at all. And then you roll with 4 blanks.
Yep.
Oh, it's such a pain in the butt, this game sometimes.
It happens.
Yep. But that's the other thing. Like with my local group, it was they were taking abilities like they should. So they take Jake's ability, Sabine's ability, and then I was like, oh, by the way, there's like this other thing out there to where you can grab alternate abilities. They're just named differently. And so they, of course, 2 people have Sabine's ability, even though they're 2 different cards. 2 people have, Jake's ability. So everyone's barrel rolling before they move. They get a focus. They boost. They give a focus. And then they clear their stress.
That would be the alternate pilot abilities that Dovey Anderson came up with.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great set. Recommend everybody have a look at it.
Oh, absolutely. But then I'm playing the DM this time around. I'm like, should I let them do that, or should I keep them from having fun? And so, we're having fun. Everyone's having an absolute blast with being able to do all the things so far. and everyone's like, "Oh, Cassian, no, let me take your stress real quick."
Oh, look, just like being a DM in D&D,
Yeah,
it's all about the players having fun. And go ahead, let them do their shenanigans. If you find things are going a little bit too easy, just like in D&D, there's absolutely nothing that says you can't throw 2 more orcs on the board.
yeah. You can't all of a sudden, oh, that wave's supposed to show up turn 4. Guess what? It's showing up at turn 2. You can always make it, and that's it. You can always make it harder too, because somebody asked me. Well, another good question: what happens if I want to upgrade to a Falcon or a K-wing or an Arc 170? Because those aren't really out there, but they are. And how do I scale it appropriately to my gameplay?
Yeah, okay, look, I haven't really gone down that path yet of ships that were outside the original edition.
Mm-hmm.
I would say large and medium based ships definitely have to count as 2 players.
Yep.
For reinforcements.
Oh yes.
Unfortunately, one thing that the AI doesn't do very well is handle medium and large base ships.
Yes.
Anybody who's played any of the missions with the Falcon in it will know that it's very, very easy to upset the AI.
Yes.
It is something that I do have on my to-do list, is to expand the list of ships.
Mm-hmm.
I was happy to leave it as it is because it's very thematic. Just after, I think it's set not long after the Battle of Yavin.
Yes.
So I'm kind of happy to keep it in that range at the moment.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. You can always go back before Yavin and extend the missions there. You can always go into the future a little bit after. Even that, like there's basically I'm stuttering because there are so many different parts of Star Wars now because there's so many different cartoons out there that are just random characters in different parts of the world. There's video games, there's books, and so, like it's not easy to dive into any of them, but it's so possible. The possibility is almost endless.
Spoiler alert,
Yeah.
Ghost Campaign.
Yep, Ghost Campaign. Yeah, even then, where you, oh geez, now my brain's spinning because like, do you get a ghost and you just you just get the ghost the whole game and you upgrade it and build up that experience and.
I was actually thinking more along the lines of it's going to be more a role play campaign arc than it is a pure X-Wing campaign arc.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm excited for that. Ooh, ooh, I'll be contacting you after the show.
It will need some changes because, again, the Ghost is not a
Huge.
small base ship.
Oh, that thing is nigh unkillable. And that's the thing. Immediately, my brain goes, "Oh, okay. So if I take the that pilot that just came out, not Krennic, the other guy, freaking Jesus Christ, I'm gonna have to look it up. That's gonna bother me. The guy he was the double agent from
Oh, Callus.
Thank you, Callus. Not yeah, Callus. Throw Callus's ability on there with Hera and like, oh, you could throw so many different things on there to make that thing like double reinforced and all that. So next part, because we now have, where is it? We have epic battles. We have huge ships. Now in second edition, this is from Biff. If epic battles, rules, and huge ships mechanics were available when HOTAC second edition was being crafted, would you have leveraged anything from those into second ed HOTAC? Examples, like we already went over wing leaders, but any of the objectives or the hard points or other upgrades for use with station emplacements.
It would have changed some of my thinking if those expansions had been available at the time.
Yep.
Looking at them now, it's more a case of here come some optional rules, which will happen. I'm very keen to keep the base HOTAC as vanilla as possible. Having said that, the optional rules document is going to grow a little bit
Yeah.
and will include stuff that maybe deviates from what the original was.
Yeah.
I definitely want to see missions that have got epic ships in it.
Like even its own epic campaign, like FFG used to put out in first edition, to where you get one ship, it slowly builds up upgrades throughout the campaign, and depending how you end up winning or losing, it sends you on a different path. There was like 3 paths that you could end up on.
Yeah, I have actually looked through all the original missions,
Yep.
and again, spoiler alert, you may see them reappear in a slightly different form.
Yeah. Oh, that would be amazing. Like, other than that, a few more questions. Make sure here. So I want to make sure everyone has been paid attention to when it comes to posting here. Yep, the testers incorporating epic play. Yep, or all that. Yeah, they're not going to do that now with the version. Oh, okay. Yeah, new story arcs and campaigns. We did cover that. Is there any plan to compile a repository or modular rule sets? Most popular house rules. So if all of a sudden something becomes more popular than what was originally put, are you just gonna be like, swap, done?
It will go into the optional rules document, stuff
Yep.
like that. Again, I want to try and keep the rules as original as possible. If people are using house rules and they think that they're better than what is currently in place, by all means, post them up on the Facebook page, tag me in it. I'm more than happy to take a look at them and potentially put them in the optional rules doc. The optional rules document is probably not really well named. It probably shouldn't be called optional rules. It should be called suggested changes or something like that.
Alternative play formats.
You know, it was kind of always and still is important to me to keep Josh's original vision and concept.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to create a whole new game.
Yeah.
And certainly no offense intended to the guys who were working on it, because they put a lot of work into it, and no, they did a lot of work on it and did a good job. But the old playtest 2.0, it was kind of HOTAC, but it took a big deviation from what the original had been.
Yeah.
And I was always keen for it to stay as original as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's like, people like familiarity. It's a good thing to keep, but you also want to expand, because a lot of the upgrades that are, attached to some of the AIs don't exist anymore. Certain ships definitely got weaker, other ones got tougher at the same time. Like when defenders come in, my team really does crap their pants, because they're like, oh Jesus. Because it takes a long time to get those things down. They were hard in first edition, but yet now they're like double tough because they're more health, and they still get that beautiful focus and evade every time. Oh man. Yeah.
No one ever said life was easy.
Yeah, exactly. So, my next question, this is actually from me. Sorry if I'm scratching. I'm covered in poison ivy from head to toe. It's driving me nuts.
Oh,
Yeah, it's just me. It's the summer. So I actually reached out to Josh because I wanted to ask. I was like, have you spoken to Shaun? What do you think of his progress? Basically, does he have your blessing? Or do you have his blessing rather? So he said, yep, I definitely reached out to Shaun. Let me pull it up exactly. I did already have it here, I swear. It's me and him then all of a sudden got talking. He goes, but the 2.0 conversion has been all him. While I would love to put into development or more HOTAC stuff, the truth is I work full-time as a game developer now and don't have time to play X-Wing much more. And plus he has Star Trek Alliance coming out with the Whiz Kids. But yeah, I mean, have you been able to pick his brain, or was he like, dude, thank you so much for picking this up, just go with it and have fun?
This is going to sound really, really strange, but I've had very, very little communication with Josh. He did at one stage say early on in the piece after it was released that he was looking forward to playing it.
Yep.
He's, much to my relief, never said, "What the hell are you doing? Get your hands off it." And he's always been encouraging. And again, look, testament to how well he created the first edition is there were really no grey areas where I thought, holy shit, what was he thinking? It was always clear what Josh's intention was.
Yep.
So there was no need to, sorry to disturb you, oh great one, but I have a question sort of thing.
Yeah.
Look, I think the fact that he hasn't told me to get my hands off it, I'll take as a pseudo blessing.
Yep.
And to be honest, the support that it's had from the community in general, I'll take as a pseudo blessing.
Yeah, well, a lot of positive feedback because
Yeah.
as soon as second edition comes out, everyone's like, "What about this? What about this? What about this?" And of course, HOTAC was like, "Are people converting it? What's happening?" And nobody was hearing from anybody. There was very little content being put out at the time. Like I know Scott, he put out a playtest thing. Goes here's a playtest. Give me some feedback of something. Other people have put out like full versions of this HOTAC, but it's not really that familiar. It's different structure. Not that it's worse or better. It's just it's unfamiliar territory. And then you just immediately, like, it was like a loose football. You're like, let me run this into the end zone real quick. And no one's really said anything on the contrary to it, and I think the feedback has been absolutely great, and everyone's been enjoying it immensely. I know I have. I think I've played through this now. This is my 4th time playing through it, and it's getting
look,
better.
I've been really pleased with the feedback and the way everybody has picked it up. It's been fantastic, and look, people just jumping on board to help with it, like Bill Waller and Justin Gann with the layouts and the AI cards.
Oh, absolutely.
Without being asked, they, hey, dude, I can do this for you if you like. And I was just like, great.
Sure, I'll take it.
Been really good. One of the things that, as I said earlier, one of the things I wanted was to try and keep that original framework intact.
Yep.
But I knew right from the start that if I was going to take this on, then I had to be responsive to questions. And things would need to be done fairly quickly as they came up, which I think has added to the appeal of it.
Yep.
People can see, oh, hang on, if I've got a question, wow, it's going to get answered quickly. So I've tried to stay on top of that stuff.
Oh yeah, because I've
listened to people's feedback and where necessary make the changes. So it's kind of, I did most of the work, but there's been a lot of feedback, so other people have been there behind the scenes.
Oh God, yes. Because even the other night I had a question. I was like, with ion clouds, are they obstacles or are they not? And you're like, they're not. And I was like, yeah, because it doesn't say that they are, and it says not. The AI ignores them as such. And then what was the other question I had, like in the middle of it? Oh, we talk way too much. That's the problem. But that's the thing. Like you immediately have these things in the middle of a game, and you're like, how should we treat this? I don't know. This is a very interesting question. And it was something to do with a pilot's ability and how the AI should use it or something to that effect. But you immediately answered the question because I think you're...
one of the AI abilities kind of was nullified by the one after it.
Yes, it was...
When you look at them, they kind of more or less work in conjunction.
It was Dark Curse, which was you aren't allowed to, the opponent isn't allowed to re-roll their dice or spend focus tokens to modify their dice.
That's right.
And then the other one was when you're being shot, you may reroll one of your opponent's die, or your opponent has to reroll one of their hits or crits. And it was like, and of course, I'm the DM, and there's 4 or 5 of them, and they're like, no, see, that's the rules, you can't do it, you're not rerolling anything. I'm like, guys, come on. You know I'm the DM, I can just literally do whatever I want.
Yeah.
I think we ruled it as it nullifies itself, though, but then you're like, no, it works.
It does work. Just in case anybody's wondering why it does work, that reroll is actually taking a hit, or the chance of taking a hit off. And even if it just turns it into a focus, you can't change it.
Exactly. Wolfhead, yeah. Is there a ruling on seismic bombs can destroy ion clouds or storms?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, okay, no to both. No, there is no ruling, but yeah, I will make one.
Yeah.
Ion clouds and ion storms, no, cannot be destroyed by seismic charges.
And see, with second edition, have you ran into any of those, like, Pandora's box where rules just don't work? And you're like, nope, that's gone.
No.
Really?
Funny enough, I haven't. I haven't
man.
hit anything where I've had to just go, no.
Because with second edition, like, it's rules lawyering, but not really, because it's obstacles are this, bombs are this, mines are this, and it's like, well, we have ion storms. It's like, well, it never says they're an obstacle, so a seismic can't destroy or a non-obstacle. And it's like, well, do seismics work against emplacements? No, they're not obstacles. You don't crash into them and stuff like that. So it's
nobody can destroy the asteroid that it's parked on.
Yes, it is.
Unless it has a sensor beacon on it, in which case you're kind of crazy setting off loud bangy stuff right beside sensor beacons.
Yep. Oh, that's another question. Like with the what's that new bomb? The one that can like just unleash unholy hell on everything. It's like the ion something. Let me look it up because there's way too many in this game now. The electric proton bomb.
Oh yes.
So, as a DM, I would allow one person to buy one, and no one else can have one. And after you spend it, you have to buy another. Thank you for the follow, Leonard. I would make that bomb
It hasn't come up yet, but it is one that I probably should specifically go and have a look at.
Exactly. But I would love to test that bomb out on multiple bombers just to see how bad it interferes with the game, because the last match that we did, they all huddled together, they waited for all of the interceptors to come right in the middle, and the Y-Wing just went, thanks, and then left, and all of them scattered and hit every single one of the interceptors in one fell swoop. I'm like, that's just not fair, I can't help my AI.
Hey, if it can be broken, they will find a way to break it.
Oh, yes, they do. It is... Oh, thanks for the follow, man. Wait, you weren't following me before, freaking Chuck? How dare you? Oh, man. He's on my stream twice a month. Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, break it as much as you want. Do whatever you want with it. Oh, it's such an amazing game.
Anything that you find that is legitimately broken, honestly, put it on the Facebook page, tag me in it. There is going to be some stuff where I'm just going to go, player shenanigans. I like it. Yeah, and there will be stuff where I'll genuinely go, no, that's just broke. And try and fix it. But I'm always going to encourage player shenanigans, because to me, that's what HOTAC is all about.
Yeah. Well, that's it. So I'm going to get into it. I'll get into it later. We got to take a break. We've been going for a straight hour and a half, and we've been picking Shaun's brain. We're going to take, I don't know, a 3 to 5 minute intermission real quick. And then I'm going to send a link out to some people who have played HOTAC. You guys can come in and pick Shaun's brain, or just, mull over him for the next hour or two, and let them know what you think of it. And yeah, other than that,
I love it.
any other comments or quotes before we take a quick break?
I don't think I've got anything else. Says me quickly scanning through the list of
Yeah, I know the
stuff.
quick questions that we were having. Oh
No,
man.
I think we covered everything that I had already seen.
Yep. All right, everyone.
But
Well, go
one
ahead.
thing I will say, just to quickly go back to solo,
Mm.
if you have a look on the HOTAC Facebook page, and I think it did appear on a couple of other pages. Peter, and I hope I pronounced this correctly, Dubschlane has written an article comparing HOTAC's AI to Solo.
Yep.
It is well worth a read.
Yes. He definitely goes into depth about how it works. Two difference.
A lot of what he said is what I was thinking.
Yeah. Well, like I was talking to Padre, I said, he goes, "This AI is terrible." I'm like, "It's great if you play the solo play scenario because it will appear randomly and it won't be to where you're just going after two ships. No, all of a sudden, three ships will be on the board, and they'll do one of them will eventually do the right maneuver." And it won't be the one that you're targeting. It will then shoot at your back, and it will stay behind your back. It doesn't have to do the K turn, and that's what it is a dogfight where you're one pilot versus many, and you can keep adding and compiling to that to where you can have someone play with you, but you got to keep adding more and more ships and stuff like that.
There are some interesting things in there, and one that I may look at actually stealing for some future scenarios
I know this.
is appearing off a hyperspace marker.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely something that FFG has never really gotten into until the Aces High thing came out.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's brilliant. And I threw mine away because there was no scenario with hyperspace tokens in them. What are these for? And then I threw them away.
Yeah. So there's something I didn't answer before is some of the concepts that came out with the huge ships and epic rules, some of the scenarios, and from was it into Don't Tell Me the Odds, or he fully loaded
I don't know. I
the
have it right here.
environment cards.
Let's see. Environment cards came in the fully loaded.
Yeah, I would love to incorporate some of them into scenarios.
Yeah.
I would love to see a scenario where it starts with 6 asteroids kind of more or less at one end of the board, and at the end of every turn, they move 2 or 3 straight further up the board.
Yeah. We were talking about that as well.
Things like that. Just to throw more stuff in the mix.
And there is so much pushback on that from people who just like the 206 format. It's like, shake it up a little. You don't always have to play the same thing. And I could say, playing other formats does not mess with your 206. You can jump right back into it, and you're not going to have those. It's not going to be like, why can't I barrel roll and boost and take a target lock and focus and then take away my stress all in one turn like I can in HOTAC? I screwed up. It's like, no, you're going to read the cards, you're going to play your list, it's going to work just fine.
Which actually just made me think of a question that was asked.
Ooh, okay.
Which we missed. Will HOTAC look at using the quick build card similar to FGA?
Yes.
And the answer, unfortunately, is no. I did look at going down that path. FGA and HOTAC, although they have the same parent, they're siblings, but they're not twins. The quick build cards work really well in FGA because they base a lot of their stuff off threat level, whereas HOTAC is based off pilot initiative.
Yep.
And that's where they do start to diverge. I did look at it, but it was going to be a lot of work, and it actually started to deviate too far away from what HOTAC is.
Yeah. All right, let's take a quick break, bring in some other guests, and yeah, go get your bathroom break on or go get another beer. And once again, oh,
I will
jeez.
be right back.
Yeah, thank you, Shaun.
My
to you
pleasure.
guys.
I'm loving this.
There you go. All right. Okay, thank you everyone for that quick break. That was amazing. I was able to stretch. Shaun was able to go. What was that? What is that thing called?
Cherry rye.
Cherry rye. I love it when the community gets together at different events and everyone like brings their own food
Mm.
and everyone just shares it and everyone brings their own beer. Everyone brings every part of their culture and shares it, which is I think the best part about X-Wing. Meeting so many different new people. It's absolutely amazing.
Store
Uh,
championships at Bris Vegas Comics, which is home of the Fearless Gundarks.
yes.
Store championships, which run once a month. Pizza for lunch.
Yep.
That's included in your entry fee. Thank you.
You would think that that would be standard nowadays with the way that the community has morphed into like tabletop games are acceptable, you know, nerds are cool. And more and more women are starting to get into tabletop gaming as well. It's freaking awesome because they bring a whole new
Great.
light. And it's like when Padre runs a tournament, it's like you pay $35, but your food is taken care of. Certain types of drinks are taken care of, not alcoholic ones, but then on top of that, you're getting just rushed with prizes, and you're going to be here the whole day, and you're going to have a great old time. And
Sorry, my daughter's
I love
just
it though.
Question from Brittany. They
Yeah.
don't have cherry ripes in America?
No, they don't. I'm sure.
No,
Actually,
Brittany?
now I want to look it up. Cherry Right? Is it what it's called?
Cherry ripe.
Rye. RYE.
RIPE.
Ripe. Oh. America? Let's see. 23 Australian foods that Americans will never get to enjoy.
And that would be one of them.
Yep, cherry ripes are not on the menu. That sucks.
Oh.
Well, what's the other thing that somebody brought over and DU I think had some? It was like the crisps or wisps or something. They're like a weird cracker.
Oh, could be anything. We get a lot of weird cracker type stuff here.
And so they brought it over and he chewed it. He's like, this has no flavor whatsoever.
Yeah, that tends to be a highlight of crackers.
Yeah. And then
Taste for it.
meanwhile, it's like, oh, let's go get some food. Let's go to a burger joint. And they go to a burger joint, and the burger is like absolutely massive and covered in 6 different ingredients. And they're like, what the fuck is this? This isn't a burger. This is half a cow with a salad on top of it.
To get a decent burger here, you have to go somewhere like Five Boroughs Burgers.
Yeah, and it's people don't think it's like you guys are a continent, but you're also technically an island. Everything's an island if you think about it. But like, is cows like a major import for you guys? Or do you guys have a lot of farming?
We have a lot of cows here.
But so we do, but we don't because we also import a lot of beef as well.
We export a lot of beef.
Yeah, that's geez. So like that's the other thing is like we incorporate so many different cultures into into the states, but then we completely butcher it. Like Chinese food isn't Chinese food in America.
Yeah.
It's
really interesting in Australia. One of the beauties of being so multicultural is the dining. We've got a very small shopping centre just near here.
Yep.
I have a choice of Mexican, Italian, American burgers.
Yep.
2 Italian actually, pizza, Vietnamese, and that's just in one small centre.
Oh yeah. It's
Oh,
overwhelming.
It's
I don't need that many choices.
that is the tough part. What the hell am I going to have tonight?
Yeah, and especially with my wife, it's incredible because she can only eat certain things because it upsets her stomach if it has too much oil or garlic or whatever. So like that's half of Italian, half of the Chinese is gone. She likes Mexican because they don't really use that stuff in abundance like other cultures do. So yeah, guacamole with a little bit of garlic that doesn't bother her, but makes it interesting to cook.
Yeah, well, the Mexican restaurant round the corner is next on my list of ones to try.
Oh yeah. Well, what's it called?
Cantina.
Mission Cantina?
No, just
Okay.
Cantina.
Like, we have a Mission Cantina right near us, and the food is out of this world. It's like,
Mm.
it is Mexican food. It's absolutely phenomenal. Oh, the way they prepare. And that's the other thing. With COVID happening, half the stuff is, like, out for delivery, or it's out for pickup. But
Yeah.
hours have drastically changed. So you Google it, it'll say it's open at noon. You go to their Facebook page, it says it's open by 2. And then you call them, and they said, we're not open till 4. Like,
Yeah, we've had the same problems here. We've only recently had the restrictions eased.
oh yeah, we're slowly reopening the economy, even though our numbers are still steady.
Yeah, we've been really lucky here in Queensland. We had our first positive case for about 3 weeks
Gee.
the other day, and it turned out to be somebody who'd flown in from interstate.
Yep. Well, that's the thing. We shipped something out to Fly Casual months ago. They have still yet to get it because they're not accepting anything from America. That's for certain.
I've ordered a couple bits and pieces from overseas, and like a month later, I'm still waiting.
Oh yeah. Well, it's absolutely me even shipping to Padre, who's like 800 miles away. It takes like 4 or 5 days to get there.
Yeah,
Because the mail systems are so overburdened and their staff is so limited.
yeah.
Jesus.
But somebody may have joined us.
Oh, Charles. Oh, he's muted though.
Hmm.
Charles, unmute yourself.
Don't be
Okay.
shy.
I know.
Don't
Okay,
bite.
he'll get to us eventually. So, well, that's the other thing. Everyone has been working. We're living from home. I've never seen so much development happening. Since COVID happened, how much work have you been getting done with HOTAC?
Well, a hell of a lot. I actually work in supermarkets,
Mm.
so I've still had a good steady job to go to. It's one of those things. I'm grateful that I still have work to go to, but I'm terrified of going there because, well, yeah.
Tell me about it.
But it's been kind of go to work, come home, go to work, come home, and as I said earlier, this whole lockdown thing is probably one of the best things that could have happened to HOTAC and to X-Wing in general.
Yeah.
Charles says I don't have rights to unmute.
What? Oh, you're gonna unmute Charles? What? No, you're not muted.
No, Charles said he doesn't have rights to unmute.
What? That's not true. I can't even unmute him.
No,
Microphone.
neither.
Microphone access denied. Oh yeah, Chuck. What you got to do? If you're in Internet Explorer or Mozilla or Chrome, you'll see a pop-up appear, and it will say "allow" when you open up the link. I hate it because even when you tell it to remember and accept, it'll then still lock you the next time that you use it. So if you're using Chrome, you even have to go in and delete the settings in order for it to pop up and allow you in order to do it. So switch to either Internet Explorer or Mozilla if you got it. Yeah, okay, give me a minute. Perfect. All right, that's Chuck, one of my players that plays. And that's Now we can get into Stigma. Have you see, you speak with a lot of people who actually like scenarios and stuff, but I mean, I've talked to a player because there was 5 of us playing HOTAC, and I went over. He's sitting there doing nothing. He's watching people play. I said, dude, you can come over, play with HOTAC, and then you can just fly off the board if you want. You don't have to stay and play. He goes, fuck no. So so far people have said no. I think there's like some secret like underground mob situation going on to where like people who like to play scenarios, HOTAC, the scenarios that FFG puts out and even Epic. How have you gotten any bad feedback from people who just do the 206 and they want nothing to do with you?
I've actually been fairly lucky. I can say no.
Ooh, good on you.
Some people have said, "Oh no, look, not for me." which fair enough, to each their own, but I've received really no negative feedback. Um, Most people have been really supportive. I'm fairly lucky. We've got 3, 4 squads I can think of at game stores around here. Everybody who's aware of what I'm doing has been really positive. Even those who don't have an interest in it, it's like, dude, well done, working on the community sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that has really drawn me into X-Wing as a whole is just how welcoming everybody has been. I got out of competitive gaming way back in 1988. Oh yeah, I know. I'm really dating myself. I was actually quite young when it happened.
What were you playing?
Believe it or not, World War II modern micro armor.
Oh, okay. All right.
On 285th scale.
Yep.
I had a very bad experience at a competitive level.
That'll happen.
And I know it was actually quite nasty, to the point where myself and another guy were people went and complained to the organizing committee about us,
Oh, jeez.
because we beat them,
Yeah.
because
See,
we didn't use the bog standard tactics and approach that everybody else was using, and that meant we must be cheating. And that really put me off. So I got right out of competitive gaming way back then, and I swore I would never get back into it. But shortly before I left Melbourne to move up here, I bit the bullet, and it was just a 4-week, once a week casual tournament. And I thought, what the hell, I'll jump in. And I had actually never played face-to-face prior to that. And I think I'd had 2 games prior to that face-to-face.
that stinks too.
But I had been playing a lot of HOTAC, so I wasn't completely on my own, and I had been gaming for a while.
Yep.
But just I turned up, this guy that nobody knew, and they were just also welcoming.
Yes.
And you know, took me into the group. I was really disappointed I missed the 4th week, but that was the week that I actually came up here to Queensland.
Yeah.
But once I got settled up here, I found the local game shop, and everybody there's just been so welcoming and supporting and everything. It's been good. I think the X-Wing community as a whole
Yeah.
is pretty damn good compared to a lot of the other gaming communities.
God, I've been in, let's see, DBZ, Magic, 40K, Hero Clicks. I'm sorry. There's probably one more that I've been in. X-Wing. I've never had a better community than that. Even when you run into the occasional, you want to avoid that person. It still pans out. It still, you find people that are gonna definitely accept you and be welcoming, no matter what. Even like if you don't play their scenario, they'll still be like, "Oh no, like let's try and figure something out to where we can play. I don't have to do what you do. You don't have to do what I do, but we can figure something out. Let's play that instead." And it doesn't always have to be X-Wing either.
Look at the Gundarks. Well, not at the moment because of the restrictions, but the Gundarks are out. We usually go out once a month just to one of the local pinball arcades.
Yeah.
Go out, have a few beers together, play some pinball. It's fabulous.
Oh, I wish like arcades were still. There are some around here because I'm not gonna lie. I wish not instead of X-Wing, but kind of that I was one of a pinball fanatic. Unfortunately, I'm way too invested in X-Wing.
I haven't played.
There was a pinball machine in the '90s called Taxi Driver.
Taxi
It was
Driver.
amazing.
Hi, Chuck.
I just got in. I missed the last 5 minutes trying to reset all kinds of accounts and such.
Oh,
Sorry.
I know, right? My favorite still to this day is Elvira. I love
Oh,
that
that was
pinball.
really good. That was
Um,
really good.
Which one?
oh Jesus,
Scared Stiff or Party Monsters?
Party Monster, Party Monster.
That is a
Ooh.
great table.
Let's party and the thank you, Boris.
Here's a little bit of trivia for you.
Oh,
For a
okay.
little while, towards the end of last year, I was playing competitive pinball. I'm ranked about 700th or thereabouts in Australia, and about 4,500th in the world.
And that's actually really good
Wow.
because people don't understand. Like pinball is a die-hard sport. It is a sport.
It is.
I
So
even
my experience is anytime you get into anything like that you find out there's an entire community that you never knew existed. Right?
well, that's the thing. X-Wing is played in convention centers, in stores with huge windows. Pinballs, it's played in back alleys, basements, attics, anywhere they can fit.
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
It's actually quite strange here because there's two very, very good arcades here. Netherworld, which is a bar / arcade, and Pincadia,
Yep.
which again is big bar / arcade, and then they are right out in the open.
Yeah.
Prime locations.
It's like
Well, it's funny. I was listening to you, Shaun, say, you got into X-Wing with, a request of your family for the core set. And that's how I got into the game. I'm over 50, and it was a summer vacation, rainy day. My kids and I went to the mall looking for something to play. Saw this fancy plastic spaceship game being played in the back of some game store. Got the game, played over the vacation, had a blast. My son is, at the time he was probably 12 or 13. He grew up and went off and did things and was like, "Dad, I'm not interested." And I'm like, "But but Dad's still interested." So and
I don't know if you can see the video, Truck, but I think I may be a couple of years older than you are.
What?
but it's funny. So I started playing, and I just went and I went to a local game store and said, "Do people play this thing?" And then this whole world opened up that I had no idea even existed. I wasn't a gamer. I wasn't a gamer by any stretch, and learned of this whole thing out there. And then people like Patrick and folks that we play with now, sucking me into conventions and Gen Con and
Sucking you in. Sure, sucking you in.
well, it can't be my fault, Patrick. Come on.
What? It's all guys. I signed you all up for this. I paid for the hotel. How do you guys want to get there? What?
Who else is coming?
Yeah, who else is coming? That's literally like what happens.
But
So
I was typing it in the chat, and I did want to say, Shaun, thanks for all the effort with HOTAC, because I know Patrick's doing a great job running the game, but we are having a blast, an absolute blast. And even though we're doing it online, I mean, the game is fantastic, and Patrick isn't lying that we whine a lot, and we challenge everything, but the game has just been a blast for us. So thanks for all the effort.
Oh, look, I'm really pleased that people are getting a lot of enjoyment out of it. X-Wing has given me a lot. I suffer quite badly from anxiety. And I will say being part of the X-Wing community has alleviated that hugely. So to see anything, my work giving other people pleasure, I'm just glad I could give something back to the community.
yeah.
Well, it is appreciated for sure.
Thank you.
Well, Chuck is the guy that either says this is ridiculous or this is too easy. There is no because all of a sudden because I let them converse. Like, what should we do? Let's do it too hard. And I'm just slow, quietly setting up 4 TIE fighters over here, setting up 4, and all of a sudden Joseph and Chuck, what are you doing? What is that? Why are you putting ships?
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute.
And all of a sudden they just stop all their planning. Like, how many are coming? What, a shuttle? No. And I'm like, yeah, the shuttle. They're like, what else? I'm like, that's it, I swear.
But I do have to comment on the proton bombs on the Y-wing during that last mission. Yeah, that was a little cheeky on our part.
Yes,
There were certainly, Shaun, to your point, there were shenanigans. Plenty of shenanigans.
For what it's worth, last time I ran the revenge mission, I did exactly the same thing.
I love it. That's it.
Suckered all the interceptors in towards the middle.
And then
Dropped 2 proton bombs, one on each corner of the square, and just had everybody bugger off.
That's how you have to do
So you'll
it.
appreciate it, Shaun. So before we got started, we were debating on whether or not to bring the Y-wing with us, if you will, because we were worried it was going to make the mission too hard, and we debated back and forth. Finally selected, yeah, let's bring it, and it was without question the hero, without doubt.
It delivered 4 crits
A
in 1 turn.
Y-wing armed with proton bombs I've found, is probably one of the strongest ships you can take. Chuck a skilled bombardier on there.
Yep.
And I think
we have
at later stages you can throw a trajectory simulator on it.
Yeah. Well, no, you guys have the veteran turret gunner because then it can shoot twice.
So good.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah,
So
double tap.
Oh, so do you know a some knob in the chat?
I do. That would be Nobby.
I think I'm gonna invite him in here.
Oh no, feel free. Nobby is another one of the Gundarks.
Yep.
Nobby will be playing in the campaign we're hoping to kick off on Thursday. Nobby has been super encouraging about this.
Love it. Because, I'm going to ask Chuck now, was there reluctance in playing it, in joining HOTAC, or there was no hesitation?
I think originally, if you remember when we were still going to the shop, I was a little hesitant because it was kind of pulling me away from the kind of classic gaming time of 206, as you call it.
Yep.
So it was like, do I forego getting some games in to go play this thing that I didn't really quite understand what was going on? But then once I heard Joseph and some of the others speaking about it and how much fun they were having, I was like, I'll give it a try, sure. And then that first experience just hooks you, right?
First taste.
And I love the idea and the concept of, kind of your pilot evolving and you're getting new stuff. I have died, so that was fun.
Rolling on that chart is very scary.
Oh, I know, so bad. But it's not even, I mean, it's X-Wing, but it's the cooperative element of it, the thematic element. It just feels like a different game. It's just for me, it was a little bit of hesitancy at the beginning, more time than the game itself. But now that I'm in, I can't think of the last time I played a normal game of X-Wing.
It's converting people to the way. You got to show them the way.
Got to go to the way.
Oh man, but that's the thing. It's for people who are hesitant, and then you go into HOTAC and you're like, you know what? I've never flown that ship before. Let's see how I can break it. You break it, and then it opens your eyes up to list combinations that you've never thought possible in your regular games, to where it's like, I now see the value of this pilot ability. I never did before. Now I do. You combo it off of other things that you're used to with HOTAC, because you can stack 10 different abilities on top of one another. But then it's like, wow, yeah, I can understand why this is a big problem for people.
Yeah, so Shaun, some of the things we've figured out as a group is we have the Dutch ability, we've got the Jake ability, and Sabine, so we're maneuverable as all get out. passing and throwing target locks and focuses to each other. It's good fun. So double
Oh,
modded proton torpedoes, turns out they're pretty good.
Yeah.
You're pretty dangerous. One of the things I am keen to start looking at again, Patrick, is because the progression is so much quicker now. People are racking up tons of excess XP towards the end.
Really?
I don't know if you remember when I did it. In fact, it was actually back for first edition.
Hmm.
I had an entire ground crew
Hmm.
where you had the shield technician,
Okay.
and for a certain amount of XP per player, everybody could get a shield upgrade without using a slot. But everybody had to buy it at once.
Yep.
The weapons technician, which back in the old days automatically gave everybody the extra munitions card.
Yeah. Oh, jeez, that
But
card.
you had to buy them all together, and it didn't take up a slot.
Yep.
The intelligence officer. I love the rebel intelligence officer. If you owned him, for a cost of 3 experience per player, you could actually find out what vector random Imperial enforcements were coming on a turn before they arrived.
Oh, see, there you go.
See, Patrick,
It
I don't see
kind
you
of
taking any notes.
made things easier,
I
but
created
also made them tougher.
I created the market. The market doesn't exist to where if you have any sort of droid or upgrade and people want to sell it back to the market because there is a black market in Star Wars, I said, "All right, I'll just, hide over here. I'll roll a die and go, I'll give you 2 experience for it." And they're like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "Well, the market, it's a black market. Right now those things aren't hot right now. You only get 2 experience for a proton torpedo."
Yeah, that's interesting. But I want to go back to this munitions and
No, no more, no.
everybody gets a shield.
No, I'm never doing that because you guys already have the shield upgrades, the hull upgrades.
I don't
on
have
top
the
of
shield
everyone
upgrades.
has proton torpedoes because this is what's supposed to happen. You are supposed to die in HOTAC, not erase yourself, but your ship is supposed to blow up a lot to where you're supposed to be losing experience. You're supposed to be taking negative feedback for your recklessness. But no, not my group because they just all survived. They let the Y wing that nobody wants, called Not Dan, die because that's the one they march up the middle. But everyone else, no, I'm surviving. I'm not, and nobody wants to jump to light speed. No,
I died.
I know.
I died, and I think the last game didn't I end up at 1 hull or something crazy?
Yeah. Oh, that. Yeah.
So I'm diving in. I'm diving in.
But you're getting.
I'm doing the work.
I know, but you're getting very unlucky with the AI selections to where all of a sudden they just ignore everything and go after you.
I know. I don't know why what that's about. But
And that's the turn that you're stressed and you don't have a focus.
I think that's the GM. But I don't know.
I don't know.
It is actually quite possible to game the system and send your sacrificial lamb straight up the middle of the board
Oh yeah.
to draw everything into the middle, while the rest of your heavy hitters come up the outsides. I like to think that people who are playing HOTAC are not going to game the system like that. That they're actually going to play in the vein that the game is meant to be played.
Yep.
I think we're doing that, Patrick. I think we just happen to have a lot of really powerful combos.
So our current group, and again, every time that I do something with the mission, I immediately go to Shaun. I'm like, what the hell? They did it way too easily. What should I do? And so, easy solution: treat ion storms as if they were obstacles when it comes to rolling for the AI, so they swerve away from it instead of them going barreling through it, taking no actions. Because that's literally what happened. They all went right through all the ion clouds. They got none of their bonuses that they were supposed to get, and you guys wiped them out. If I would have just made them swerve away from the ion storms, it would have been a completely different game. They would have been like, because the guy that I think had Arnor Jax's ability,
Right. He never had mods.
Oh, but he was shooting and then barreling out of arcs like no one's business. That was a good AI. He did a lot of damage. The other one that was getting like focus evade every turn and just tanking shots was great. But you bombed them and you wore them down. But that's the thing. Am I supposed to all of a sudden make it harder, just so that it looks balanced, or let you guys just wreck these things and then next mission figure out what should we do? And I don't think I have to touch a damn thing because that's the hollow net, and I already
Oh.
I had to inform them. I'm like, let me tell you, the graph to where you determine how many ships, every single spot has a ship.
Oh yeah, that is a tough one.
And I was telling them what you have to do in order to find the hollow net. It's like a 3% chance that you find it. That's the problem. And then of course, see, I don't know, Shaun, do you watch like the 312 Squadron on Twitch?
No.
So they're going through the HOTACs right now, and they did what my team did, which was they scanned 3 of the hollow nets, they identified the 12, and then they scanned it again with the splicer, and they found it within the same. I'm like, and I go, do you guys realize the odds of that happening? And it was like the third turn, so they just kept mopping up TIE fighters as they were coming in because they already won the mission. Because what did my team do when it came to the capture the base? They literally Leroy Jenkins, the Falcon, rolled 3 attack dice and took over the base within the third turn. I'm like, that is not. Do you know the odds of that happening?
It's not
Felt
meant
like-
to be so damned easy.
I know. And then all of a sudden they're like, well, how much experience do we get for taking over the base? I'm like, you gain 2 experience each for every emplacement not destroyed, which they only destroyed the shield
Was with all of them,
generators, which is the only reason they were able to get into the base in the first place, because they just went 4 ships, proton torpedoes, destroy the shields, and then they docked the ship the next turn.
I think it could have to do with just a remarkably talented group of players.
Oh,
Hope you realize you can play that mission, you can play any mission
mhm.
all over again.
Yeah, I think it
And
would be fun to play that Aces mission again with the
Yep.
alternate Ion Cloud rules.
Oh yeah. Well, this is the second time that the group will be playing the HoloNet mission, because I did toss it to them when they failed the mine mission.
Yeah.
Which, that mission, I still don't understand how it works. Well,
it's a fun mission.
This is when they drop the bomb, do they drop it out of the back, or do you just throw it on the board anywhere near them? That's like...
Nah, it's got to be dropped as normal during the system phase,
Okay.
and it must be within I'd have to go and have a look at it.
I know,
it's got to be within a certain range of other mines,
Yep.
but not overlapping.
Exactly. I think that's how we did it. So they failed that mission, and then I immediately said, "Oh look, another minefield that you guys found," like in order to progress the game. And they came out with a completely different, idea, and they actually won that mission and progressed throughout the series.
The thing to remember with ion storms too, you've got to roll a crit to become ionized.
Yes.
So in most cases, you're going to go through the ion storm untouched.
Yeah.
So it can be interesting.
100%. Oh, I'm like,
fun.
It really is, because everyone just sits on pins and needles while they wait to see if an AI gets ionized, and then they just go lazily through it and they get ionized. And like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But AIs just all day are flying through and not getting ionized.
But if you
know
remember,
how
Patrick,
you're
one
gonna
of
get
them.
ionized is when you really need that focus token to take a shot at someone.
Yes. That taking away the action thing is a problem too.
Such a big problem. And I was gonna say, if you remember, I think it was one of the interceptors did get ionized.
Yep.
Which means it's a dead interceptor. And that was like, and was it the one that actually started on the cloud? Like
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I think it would be totally different, obviously, if they had the avoidance built in.
And that's the. Oh, that's Joseph. Thanks, sir. I'm still in bridal. Oh, Joseph's in bridal. No worries. That's the great thing, like Sean said, you can run through the mission twice and get completely different outcomes. But even if you notice a pattern of where it's not working or where it's working too well, you can adjust it accordingly because
Right.
it's in the rules. It's like, if this is too easy, try bumping up the number of players. If it's too hard, try lowering the number of players because it is in the exact rules to do that.
And I did find that the that mission in particular, the cheekiness of, oh, you're initiative 5, well then this is initiative 6, and it had that the compounded abilities and things. I was like, that's just so gross.
Yeah, and yet like you have to take them through step.
That that was a deliberate thing.
Of course it was.
However,
They
However,
were
Sean,
always going to be a step ahead of the players.
Yep.
Sean, so the one thing I will share, um, we were a little upset with you with the version 1 auto thrusters showing up. that was that was a little cheeky.
It's one of the
Like,
AI's abilities. It's auto thrusters.
Some of the elite pilot abilities also don't exist in version 2.
Yep.
But they were so much fun. And kind of, in a way, some of the elite cards are a little bit of a nod back towards first edition. Some of them, like auto thrusters, there was no second edition equivalent for some things.
Push the limit showed up.
Push
So
the
we
limit.
whined about that. We whined about that a lot.
Of course you did.
But there were, because in places where there were no equivalents in second edition, or I couldn't find anything that was really going to, replace something, I'm happy to give a nod back to first edition and give some of the elite Imperials. It gives them character.
It really does. Oh, I can't
Oh, no
stress that
doubt.
enough because it's great to when these people, my players, are stacked to the teeth, and then all of a sudden they're finally presented with an AI that's also stacked to the teeth, and that's when they start to complain, like, that's not fair. It's like, have you looked at your player sheet at all?
Yeah. Well, so Shauna, the only request I have is that if I upgrade to a Hawk, if you could make that TLT available again, that would be really great.
Never.
Let me have a quick think about that. No.
No, in order to fix TLT, you got to make it a bonus attack. So if you attack with it and it hits, you don't get a second attack. That's it. If you miss with it, you get a second attack.
The TLT it pretty much describes everything about 1.0 being broken.
Yeah, it is.
That and harpoons. Harpoons was to me the
Oh.
one where they were like, yeah, this is busted. We're gonna start working on another one. Just throw this thing out there. And then when everybody complained, they didn't even care because they're like, yeah, it's going away.
Yeah, well, they already knew 2.0 was in the in the works.
And there were still a lot of people that bitched about where's my harpoon missiles in 2.0.
Whoa, Padre still complains about the fact that he has to drop his bombs in one phase instead of being able to. Oh, you're right here. Let me drop a bomb. No.
Well, so Sean, I heard you make mention earlier about things like guidance chips and some of those things that just the auto damage that the 1.0 ships could push through. I used to fly, and Patrick knows this. I used to fly Bosk with cluster missiles and Dengar and
Oh,
Succus, and it was just like it was busted, so busted.
I'm assuming that was a double tap Dengar too.
Oh
Yeah.
right.
Well, this at least in second edition, it's like if you like that combo, great. You have to fly 3 ships to get it to work. They all have to be range 0 to 1 of each other, and everything now has more hull and less shield. Good luck.
And I think the thing that shifts, like Bosk's ability hasn't moved.
No.
Obviously, the cluster missiles and things are very different, but I think that subtle shift in pilot initiative, moving to this new kind of scale, that not everybody's up at 9, 10. And you can't veteran instincts folks up to 10 and all that craziness. you know, it just resets the thing. So I'm really enjoying 2.0.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
got some things that are frustrating, but it's certainly a more skillful game than I think we finished 1.0
I
with
guess
the Mirandas and
Darth Vader with VI and
Like,
yeah,
it was.
VI and reaction every turn. Thank you.
Well, like I liked flying like Jake in first edition, and it's like, okay, well, veteran instincts. You need him in a 9 because everything else.
and hey,
is
listen,
just-
this is going to be hypocritical because I love me some Fen Rao, but Fen Rao at the end of first edition was broken. Right? That double modded 5 attack die, double reposition.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
So good.
But that's like, there's a guy in our Discord who just came in. It's Vengeance, the pilot. Like he's thinking about getting into 2.0, and I don't know if he ever played 1.0, but like he'll never know that pain. I'm like very. I wish I could not know about 1.0's existence, but I do. So like I know I could sit down like an old codger. And be like, I know the way it was before 2.0 when
I
I could.
remember trying to chase down Miranda.
Like first edition Sun Tier fell. As soon as you mentioned that, you can see the old timers get that 100-yard stare.
Oh man, and it's like I remember one ship could do all the things, and that was the problem. It's like
Ghost Fen. That Ghost Fen. I remember him.
It's like it's okay. You have 3 ships that are all large ships and they're half points. Doesn't matter. I have Sunterfell. He's worth 76. I win. It's like, he's just gonna run, and you can't hit him because auto thrusters and rocks and everything. Oh man, first edition was a riot.
Oh yes.
Well, gentlemen, I do apologize. I've got to head out, but I did want to take the chance, Shaun, to just thank you for the effort and share that we're really enjoying the game, and thanks for putting the effort in and giving us that opportunity to waste our time
Yeah.
and have some camaraderie, and much appreciated.
It's been my pleasure, and as I said, I'm really happy to see people getting so much enjoyment out of it. It's nice to have been able to give something back to a community that gave so much to me.
Yep. If anyone has any suggestions, comments, questions, or if they want to help in any way, don't hesitate to post to the Facebook page. It's Heroes of the Cluster. We see questions there every day. I get questions. Shaun definitely answers everything very promptly. I mean, again, thank you so much. You've definitely given the community a lot to work with the migration to second edition. I will say it wasn't like Shaun is making it to where Shaun's like, nah, it wasn't that hard. Everything was already in there. No, there was a lot of work into scaling things and making it to where you had to adjust it and fix certain things that no longer worked, or adjusting mission scaling, and because it used to be initiative 1 to 9 or 0 to, now it's 0 to 6, so you have to figure out, okay, well, when should this ship come on when it was at initiative 9. It's like, oh no, you just scale it down like you did for second edition. It's like, that wasn't really clear cut because certain pilots went from initiative 8 to 4 instead of 5 and all that jazz as well. So you did the work, Shaun. I thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
One question that Keith Woodward did ask is, what was the biggest challenge in converting from 1.0 to 2.0?
Yep.
And I've got to say, probably the biggest challenge was where I had to write in the new rules for stuff that didn't exist, like Force.
Yeah.
Trying to maintain the balance of that and still keep it within the style and the intent of the original rules was challenging. I think I've got a system that handles it pretty well.
Yep.
The other challenge was staying true to what my vision of it was, because quite frankly, there were some fantastic suggestions and ideas coming through.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, most of them kind of turned away from the direction I wanted to take. But don't worry, all those suggestions are still filed away in the to be looked at for the optional rules doc.
Oh yeah. Well, one of mine was I told you flat out, I'm only limiting one force user for my squad, and all my group was like, well, why only one? I'm like, because I've flown multiple force users in a squad, and it's not fair to the AI. And they're like, well, can we have 2 force users? I'm like, if you do, just let you know, Inquisitors and Grand Inquisitors are going to start showing up because they're going to start hunting you down.
Ooh.
There is a scenario in the works that does account for excessive force users, because remember, cluster is actually set because it's kind of just post Yavin.
Yeah.
This is actually set at a time when, as far as the Empire is concerned, the Emperor, Vader, and Skywalker are the only Force users.
Yeah.
They start popping up in little pockets of the rebellion all over the place. The Inquisitors shall be attending.
Yes.
Ooh.
And let me tell you, that again, this is when I learned Inquisitors were good, and everyone in the 206 community was like, they're garbage, they're trash, you don't know what you're talking about.
Not garbage.
They are not, because let me tell you, the Inquisitor with 1 force who takes an evade as its action is freaking so hard to kill.
No, Patrick, you take precog reflexes or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Right. So you take your action. You just stack tokens. So
yeah,
you have a force user with focus evade every shot.
Yep.
You're in pretty good shape.
Oh, I know. It's so ridiculous how good that ship was, and I did not go any further in the Gen Con tournament, but I took Howl Runner, Iden Urso, and 3 Inquisitors, and then FFG said, "Hey, have 9 more points to work with." I said, "Okay, I'll take 7th Sister," and I still had like an 8-point bid. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it was 3 Inquisitors with precog and Psi.
Yeah.
So you could get them all locked up, and it was so good.
And that's what
the optional rule, Patrick, that says for every force user above the first, include an elite Inquisitor.
Yep.
In the first wave of reinforcements.
I love it.
And no, I don't. And with that, gentlemen, I'm gonna say goodnight. And thanks again, Shaun. Very much appreciated. And Patrick, thanks to you as well for running the campaign. It's a blast.
Oh, my pleasure.
All right, take care, guys.
You too. Have a good night. Stay safe. Oh man, so we've been going for 2 hours and 33 minutes. Thank you for all your questions in the chat and on Reddit and on Facebook. Clearly there's a support for this. Shaun's definitely put in the hours. I mean, because for every hour that we put in, Shaun's put in like 5, so it's great. And that's the other thing. There are other people that are working and building HOTAC, and every now and then you see someone throwing out a mission or two, and there's no resistance that I've ever seen. There's always acceptance, there's always feedback, and there's always reworking our current system into something better. So there was like 5 original people that kind of worked with the AI HOTAC testing and development, and now I think basically what's happened is it's been released out to the community, and now the community is just taking it over. And I think that's great.
Oh, it's been good. Look, without the community feedback, it wouldn't be at the stage that it's at. Yep. And I'll be quite honest, I look at... Oh, pardon me. Oh, pardon me again. Too much.
It's the
too much of this, I'm afraid.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
Um, I look at where the game sits at the moment and the community feedback and the input and everything. I look at the amount of work that others have done getting HOTAC into Vassal, into TTS,
Yeah.
and
Oh, hold on. We'll wait for him to come back.
what started
There we
for
go.
me is kind of a crazy, I think I can do this sort of idea has just really gone out of proportion. And I just think it's great.
Yeah, and that is proof positive that there is like an untapped resource in the X-Wing community to where all of a sudden there's a demand and people have definitely come through with making sure that HOTAC is available in the virtual world and people are definitely playing it.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
it's so good.
I think it's here to stay.
Oh yeah, it's well, it goes back to the TIE Fighter and X-Wing in the simulator game that was for like Windows 95 or Windows 3.1. Like that's what got me hooked.
Well, FGA is based on the TIE Fighter game.
Yeah, exactly. It's cohabitating. It's
And
amazing.
just wait for all the Rogue Squadron scenarios. Come on, anybody listening? There's a challenge.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Yeah, Sean's 2.0 plus Joe. Sorry, Maslati's AI app. I'm beta testing right now. It's amazing. Yeah, that's you know what is scary is the AI that is being developed for us. It's eventually going to be to where if the computer wants to win, it wins, and
Yeah.
it's going to be
Well,
chess.
Shout out to Joe Mazzalotti.
Yeah.
I believe it's only available for Apple at the moment.
Yep.
But his AI has been based off FGA's AI. He's been another one who's been taking some like feedback on what people want to see.
Yeah.
I think things like that only just make the community and the game itself stronger.
Yeah. Well, look at how
You don't need cards.
look at Fly Casual. Like that, he now just hit I think 100 backers, and it's because that AI system gives you some. I can easily bang out a game in a half hour, or I can get stuck in a game for 2 hours and not even notice.
Yes.
But I will say, people who like Fly Casual, you do have to play humans every now and then if you want to like get into the competitive market because after all the tournaments that I've played, I've definitely watched people play, and I go, "Do you play Fly Casual a lot?" They're like, "Oh yeah, I played it all the time." I'm like, I noticed.
I can describe Fly Casual's AI play style in 2 words. Joust me.
Yeah. And so there are a lot of people that post on Reddit. They're like, "I've played the computer. It beats me every time. What am I doing wrong?" I'm like, it gives you nothing but jousting lists. Don't joust it. Just make it fly through the rocks, and you'll do a lot better. And then, oh my god, that works so well. Why does that work? I'm like, because it's just gonna run at you at whatever top speed it's got.
Come at me, bro.
100%. Oh, there it is, 100%. Jesus, that's
across the middle of the table.
it is to the T exactly what it is, and even like the AI cards.
One straight in the far corner from the AI, and it'll kill itself on the asteroids.
But that's stalling, and that's illegal. No.
Really?
As far as
combat on my terms.
Oh yeah. But I've also used Fly Casual to help me prepare a list against a list that I know is my kryptonite or my negative, which was Jedi. I was flying Dash. You can't get a bid with Dash unless you fly 2 ships. Don't try. So I had to fly 3 at 200. I'm like, I'm never getting the bid. I know I'm not, and I know every time, which happened, they gave me the initiative. There was one game to where I had the bid, or I won the roll-off, and I took the initiative and I lost. But
I actually consider myself a very average player. I sometimes joke that I'm the shittest X-Wing player in the whole of Queensland. But one lot that I seem to have the number on for some bizarre reason are the Jedi.
Yeah. Man, that is one thing that FFG might regret down the road is the Jedi.
Uh, look, a lot of people complain about them, but yeah, they're thematic.
Oh,
And
100%.
I'll forgive a little bit of overbalance. Something thematic. And really, when you think about it, I mean, the Jedi should be going up against droids. And you
Yeah.
can't tell me that the Jedi are overpowered when you get a droid swarm that
Yeah.
goes, oh, I'll use his calculate token and his calculate token.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
know, so that they do balance out.
Well, see, that's like I had to adapt. I'm like, I have to make them bump me so that I don't get shot up as much and they don't get all of the mods and all of the things.
Yep.
And I have to make them work for it to where now he has no idea where I'm going. And it's like, okay, good. I can focus fire over here, move along, bump the next one, focus fire over here, make him run away and regen while I focus down on another one. It's exhausting. My games always go to time, but that's because I'm taking a specific list that sucks against it. If I all of a sudden take a swarm, then yeah, that thing's gonna get melted down with focus fire because it only has 2 defense die.
In tournament play, that's always going to happen because you don't know what you're going to come up against. I mean, I've got a little, I wouldn't even call it a mini swarm, but it's Vader, Vinder, and 3 Academy pilots.
That's Tyler Tippett was running that at Gen Con last year.
Yeah,
it did okay.
That's actually really good if you need blockers.
Yep.
Or you need cannon fodder.
Yes.
But if you're going up against an ace list, it's kind of, oh no. You don't know beforehand.
Vader can only shoot so many times.
Kind of takes your chances.
Oh, I know. That's just, like, that's what 2.0 is so good and wholesome. I like it. I don't care what people complain about and what's broken. FFG has been great about updating points and stuff. Like, even the Nantex, it wasn't crazy like everyone was anticipating it was going to be. Its ability was great. It was on a good chassis. But, like, I never saw it overabundant at tournaments. I'm sorry if it was at your local tournament. That person's an a-hole. But then they immediately just said, okay, this isn't in hyperspace, and now it's worth X points. Have fun. Like, we fixed it. And now I barely see it unless it's some kind of makeshift thing in extended.
Yeah. I think one of the best things FFG did going to 2.0 was that they took the points off the cards.
Yes. And also every upgrade. And they just left the initiative there because I don't think they really.
If they left 9 points printed on proton torpedoes, that would have made me happy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's always that option down the road because you see it with quick builds, so I'm sure they were meant to test that to its full ability, but quick builds aren't what they didn't ever reach their potential because new players try it and then because they don't have the cards, but at least they have the quick build, and then it doesn't matter. People just buy the cards eventually, anyways. Yes, and Mars, I would love to see Darth Vader in a Defender.
Yeah. The quick build can be a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, they really can, especially when you're just getting into the game and learning it.
And you will see it as an optional rule because I've got it kind of half thought out, which will give you a threat level equivalency.
Yep.
For pilot initiative. Thank you to the guys who did the playtest 2.0 document for giving us a sliding scale there.
Yeah.
That will just say, if you want to spice things up a bit, grab a quick build card at random. Use this threat level.
Yeah.
And you will start to see ships turning up with upgrades on them that they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
The best quick build card in my collection is the Thane Kirill that you could only get from a tournament.
Oh, yeah. See, I would love it if those were select things and those could be used for tournaments.
Mm.
And that is a local store thing, and then that's also an FFG thing. They create these great scenarios and these great things, but then they never try to enforce them because I think they're scared to deviate too far
Yeah.
from their standard 206. Because it would be great if all of a sudden there was a small part of the community that was like, "Oh no, I have a Defender Vader quick build card." And it's like,
Mm.
"Holy shit, how did you get that?" "Oh, I went to this tournament over in so and so, and that's what they were giving out." And it's like,
Yeah.
"That's FFG official?" It's like, "Yes."
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Great.
Just
Let's play.
another thing to wait for is the optional rule where after a squad wins 9 consecutive games,
Yep.
the Emperor sends Vader to investigate why the hell there's so much disruption in the Aturi Cluster.
Uh, I've actually used him as a character in this campaign. I'm like, well, apparently you guys have pissed off the Emperor. He notices you now as a squad, and he's now had to put bombs all throughout your hyperspace travel routes. You gotta get rid of the bombs, or the next time one of your GR-75s with some cargo goes through, it's gonna be disabled and destroyed, and you'll lose the cargo. And they're like, holy shit, we gotta get rid of these bombs. It adds to it. It gives it some flavor. It gives it some fluff. Oh.
Yeah, I do like somebody else came up with back in the first edition days with the idea of a recurring villain.
Yeah.
The first elite that appears, even if he gets destroyed, doesn't die.
No.
And every time an elite ship of that type appears, it's the same pilot. And he automatically starts targeting whoever got the kill shot on him last time.
Yeah. So good. It's unlimited potential, and that's the greatness.
And that is one of the things I love about the cluster.
Yeah. I'm very excited because the way that we've been playing it now is we're just going through every single mission. We're not doing the mission cards. We probably are going to go through it again and do the mission cards. And then we probably might dive into Flight Group Alpha. And if we can find the Scum version, we'll try to dive into that. And again, we might just go through Heroes of the Aturi Cluster again, because at that time, if we've done all that, there's probably more stuff that was already added to the heroes that is different. Yeah. We'll want to run through it again, or different types of missions.
Yeah, well, the next thing for Aturi is definitely looking at some more campaign arcs.
Yep. Oh, 100%. And that's the other thing. You can always bring your character back. You don't have to create a whole new sheet, because it scales it. It scales it.
No, and if you've got a squadron that's all I6, it's already scaled. But if you think that it's going to be a little bit easy, call them one extra pilot.
Exactly.
Yeah. Double up on whatever is in the first column. Give them a challenge.
Exactly. Endless possibilities.
Absolutely.
All right. I think we're going to end it there. It's like we've gone over all the questions you guys have had and then some. We've had an intermission. We've had people come and go. Oh, thank you so much, Shaun, for coming on. It has been
my absolute pleasure, Patrick. It's been good to be here.
I mean, it's like you're actually driving the car, but you got to speak to the architect and the builder and the designer, and it's like, oh, I didn't even realize that about my car. That's amazing. Oh, okay. Oh, that's where you got that idea from. And it's very enlightening and not reassuring, but it's nice to be able to talk to where it came from, because
it's been good to be able to share it.
Exactly.
Look, if anybody else, if we didn't cover anything, or as I keep saying, if you ever have any questions or need clarification on something, hit the Facebook page, tag me in it. I'll get back to you as quick as I can.
Exactly. And thank you guys so much for watching. I don't want to do the like and subscribe nonsense. Do what you want to do. Have fun. Stay safe. And yeah, I'll turn this into our podcast and send it over to there if you want to listen to the audio version. But again, thank you, Shaun, so much for coming on.
Absolutely been my pleasure, and I'll give you one free plug before we go.
Go ahead.
If you enjoyed today's show, folks, remember, like and subscribe, Recon Specialist, and don't forget Recon Specialist tokens.
Yep, there you go. ReconTokens.com.
There you go. Mate, I'd love to get some of your tokens, but the postage to Australia would just be crippling.
I know. We're working on that too. Even during these times, it's never gonna happen.
If you get a solution to it, let me know.
You can do stuff with Etsy store to where you can make it to where shipping is free, and then you adjust your prices accordingly. But even then, it's like, okay, well, you're paying for that shipping. You're not gonna see it for like ever because of the COVID. So once everything is done with COVID, yeah, we'll revisit that and figure out shipping, but
Keep me posted.
it's never gonna happen. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Stay safe. And
Take it easy, folks.
yeah, have a good one.